This is the bridge where it actually happened, right next to that bridge. So we left the Village on the Green restaurant, heading back to the house. Labor Day, it was about 9. And we had just got past it. And this is what the area looks like before I get into it. You can see it's marshy. And, but you don't see willow trees really, but it would make for willow trees. But it was the same type of image that water shot seemed to make me feel like I should be looking for something, but I've never found what I'm looking for in a relationship either, honestly. This is kind of hard for people to get past, you know. That's for another lunch. So we turned around and started heading home, and I think this will give you a good idea. You know, picture that bridge, and we're all heading home. We had a station wagon like this, but now keep in mind, my mother was driving. My grandmother was in the passenger seat. I was in the back seat behind my mother, my brother behind my grandmother, Marion. I was handing a candy a ball or a spiral, and she turned around through the back to tell us, well, I think he's too young, he could choke on that. And when she did, she saw all these lights that were like behind a line of trees. You couldn't really make out what it was, but it was just a massive amount of lights. I mean, it was just crazy. She referenced it later on as looking like a flying strip mall. My mother seemed to think because we were, yeah, wouldn't that be different? So we were, imagine that one. Well, it was no, it was a strip mall. So we were heading down, and it just seemed to pace or follow us a little bit. But my mother thought, you know, we're looking through the trees, you know, you get the little light that looks like maybe that's it, but then the car came to a stop off the right side of the road. Now, she doesn't recall if she stopped it, it stopped itself. It was a long time ago, but she doesn't think she would have stopped it, you know, it just would have kept going, but the car did come to a stop. When it did, the same thing that happened in '67. There was that like electromagnetic field, that calm, that still, that dead calm, that, you know, I had my ears flying in because I had a sinus cold. It was sounding like that. You know what I mean? Where you just, everything seems muffled and dead. And then there was this huge eruption of crickets. And then it was just like that. And then the door opened, and I was in this room that was very much like a warehouse. Now this room that I was in, and this is important because this does not seem to make sense if you look at the size of what this would have been. Okay, so at this point, there was a lot of talk in town already, a lot of military bases, no fly zones, Nike missiles, you know, all that kind of stuff. And here I am in what looked like an airplane hangar. And I would have, if this was a football field, I would have been at like the 5-yard line. And there were carts, metal carts. Like when you were in school, you put the projectors on them and you could, okay, they were metal rolling carts. And off to the left was just an open area about the size of a football field. I couldn't see much light at all. It was pretty much pitch dark. And then the light opened at this end of the, yeah, you can see that. Right in here, this opened up, however it did, I don't know, and an individual stepped in. And I was not in this calm, engaging type of feeling anymore. I was quite alert. And I was actually taken out. So I would have been standing right here. The carts, tables I have here. And I would have been taken out this door. Now picture this now. These walls were probably as tall as these. Maybe not quite, but pretty close. They were I was young, so everything seems taller, but they were at least 10 to 12 feet high. When I got down to this bend right here, and I remember this like it was yesterday, these walls made a 90. No curves, they were left and right. Then I was taken into this room, off to the right. So I came up, took a right, I'm going to say this right here, I must have walked maybe from here to the wall was over there, and then about the same distance and into this room here. Now, when I came into this room, the room bowed inward like a coffee can would, if you were on the outside of a coffee can. And there were two pockets, one to the left and one to the right. This room right here was probably 25% of one of these. I mean, it was only 15 by 15 or so. It was not a big room. The outside hallway really looked more like this. It looked like a circle with a Y connecting into the circle. I was brought in and I was sat on a table just like, it was low. I didn't jump up on it. It wasn't a big table. It was just something I sat on. And there were two entities that were facing this wall, which until only a year or two ago I could barely talk about, because they looked like insects with human hands. Their heads looked like footballs, that shaped like an egg. And they were bronze or gold. Human characteristics, appeared intelligent. But if you've ever seen Uncanny Valley, where you have those humans that aren't really humans, but they're almost human, and then you have this creepy feel about them because they're communicating with you, but you know there's no life to them. It was something like that. Very creepy. And one of them turned to me, and I jumped off this table, and I ran out to here. When I got onto this area, it was twice the size, this entire room. I didn't know where to go. I was 9 years old, I ran out, half naked. I heard voices. I thought maybe it was my mother. I was hoping it was my mother. You know, she said she was crying out for me, but I can't swear it was her. But I ran to those voices. And I was immediately taken back in. And this here obviously got offline, but I think this paints a very true image or depiction of what that room felt like. So I asked myself, I was in an airplane hangar, very industrial by design. This is a very good picture of where I was. So, where was I? And if I was a gambling man, I'd tell you I was an underground base somewhere, but I can't swear to that.